Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So I have to put the dev stream on this frame here because this dev stream, absolute cinema. This is the second dev stream in a row where the developers have genuinely been cooking. I'm very excited for this update, so let me show you exactly why. So let's start off with the first thing. The first thing that the developer showed us was the table of contents. They showed us breach tracking, they showed us Enzo, they showed us the modules, they showed us some weapon balance, some quality of life, some new skins, and even upcoming events in January, and some other random things too. So let's start off with the first thing, and that is breach tracking. So breach tracking, from the top of my head, if I can remember everything correctly, has three main tile sets. So three main tile sets immediately. Number one is Vespers, number two is Fortress, and number three is White Knight Gulch. So there is three locations over here. The next thing that you'd see is something like the UI over here, which would show you that the UI in the game and stuff has kind of changed. So this is specifically a mod which shows you the gold farming strats, and you can do some other things in there too. Albion has also been reworked, and a Mega Man skin for Lepic or for male Descendants has been shown. There's a new UI on the menu, so you'll see over here, breach tracking would be over here along with Purge and Purge Challenge. I'm not sure what the top one is, so that might be something new. Other than that, this is what you would see. It's got 2 daily rewards of 100 of the coins in side of the lounge, 3000 RK XP as well for daily missions, I think. And then it's got these 3 boxes, these 3 amorphous dimensional material stones. In the gold one, I believe there is gold in there, up to 6 million. In the blue one, you have superconductive cooling units, which will give you some other stuff as well. Then inside the purple one is resources for swords and for Eugen. So, let's say the photon quantum crystals, the ultra-fine particle alloys, the writhing organic matter, and the amorphous alloy steel. You can get 200 of these inside here, which is enough to craft 1 sword. Basically, run breach stranding and get yourself these dimensional stones to basically speed up your sword grind and get your sword incredibly fast. So to open these, what you will need is the dimensional stone keys. These stone keys come from Warcrasher, defeating Colossi inside of Axion, so they will spawn 10 minutes till the end of the hour, and from the Abyss boss. So Grim Reaper farming is going to be fun. And well, having a look at breach tracking, this looks incredibly promising. I think what they showed us here was, well, what the first Descendant should have been in the first place. It looks great. So you spawn in, and this is only one of the few tile sets that they showed us, and it spawns a bunch of mobs. It is essentially just grouping mobs, or just mobs in a specific area. Kill the mobs and move on to the next phase or next area of mobs. However, it's in an open world, and the environment for once doesn't look horrible. There is 3 different tile sets, like I said already, but this is just one of them. I believe this is the Vespers tile set. At the end of the mission, you will have the opportunity to open the box basically wherever you want. So you can open all 3 of the boxes if you have enough dimensional keys. Basically, instead of Axe Converter Jail, you might want to consider going to Grim Reaper Jail and farming this on loop, because this mission could potentially be done in up to maybe 3-4 minutes or something like that. Depending on team composition, so on and so forth, you could probably smoke this mission incredibly fast with Ines or with Freyna, or even with Bunny or Serena. So I think that in general, this is a good mission. It's a nice change, and it does give you something to farm for. This is going to be one of, if not the best farm for gold too, depending on consistency and chances of getting the jackpot. Essentially, for gameplay, this is kind of what you would expect though. I'll fast forward it a little bit, but they do also go under stuff like this, inside of caves and stuff like that as well. So moving it a little bit forward as well, the dev decides to use his 4th ability. I'm glad he remembers that exists. But you do have basically just spawning and killing in a bunch of phases, and then you have this one where it's Vulgus biometric codes. My only criticism would have been, I would have liked to see a defend the target, or just something a little bit different instead of just mindless killing like how majority of the other stuff in this game is. Other than that, let me fast forward to a little bit ahead if my YouTube doesn't start tweaking. Yeah, you end up going inside of dungeons and stuff like that. They said that this would be Axion difficulty, so I'm assuming Ines will just cake roll this, but we'll have to see how it goes, especially in terms of mobbing and stuff like that. So yeah, this is what we've got over here. I do think this is going to be so bunny coded, especially Vesper's over here, but we'll have to see because the other tile sets may have a better experience with some other Descendants. I think the key thing would be finding a sweet spot with your Descendant or with a team, having a Descendant that is able to carry in every single zone and having one support maybe, or just another DPS would be great. Other than that, we do have a little boss at the end of here, and fun fact, this is the pre-production Prowler. I think, I'm not 100% sure, that this is the final boss inside of the Sharon story, so it's nice to see that come back. Now, this is these 3 boxes, so you can see it took him about 6 minutes with Lapic, which means it'll take us like maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So these are the 3 boxes. Purple one will give you sword materials, blue one will give you superconductive, and the gold one will give us gold. You have to use 20-dimensional stabilization keys. They did not specify how many keys you will get per every single run, and they didn't even open the box, but that's pretty much everything we got on dimensional stabilization breaches. So that's definitely a good step in the right direction. Next up, let's move on. So the developers then went down the route of showing us Enzo. Now, hold on to your horses, because Enzo has some pretty meaty stuff, especially with what we have seen. Now, fast forwarding ahead, with Enzo, they've changed him, they've given him a new trigger mod, they've given him quite a lot of nice stuff. With no red mod, his base passive has gone kind of crazy. Prep effect, which is an effect that he gets, requires some weapons or requires shots with specific weapons, but I wanted to focus more on his firing specialist, which is his ability. You get a 56 seconds of duration, a 150% firearm increase, which scales based off max shield. Basically, Enzo is Serena except for shield, and with an Ancestor mod, Enzo does have incredibly high disposition as well. I'm pretty sure, let me just double check my Ancestor mod sheet. Enzo has a 1.2 Ancestor mod synchronization value, so this means that an Ancestor mod for Enzo will add a ridiculous amount of shield, meaning he's going to be hitting some ridiculous damage. You also have one of the most crazy things I've seen on any Descendant change in a minute. So they went down the route of course, turning Enzo into Serena as much as possible. If I'm completely honest, they might as well slapped on a pair of titties onto him, because he's gonna be as capable as some female Descendants in this game. So we are getting into some crazy territory. One of the other or biggest changes that I wanted to mention is that Enzo's second ability now works like Serena's third ability. So what you are able to do is you are able to shoot your weapon, and then if you use the second ability with Enzo, it instant reloads your ammo, and the second ability has been greatly buffed to doing over 1 million plus damage on mobs. These are level 1 mobs, so take the damage values with a grain of salt, but this is still incredibly capable, and the director has absolutely horrific aim, holy shit. But this is kind of cooked, so yeah, this is what you'd get with regular Enzo. Now, with Enzo, on his 4th ability, they've increased the range, they've increased, just left Enzo majoritarily the same. But when it comes to his red mods, they've added some more QOL as well. For example, his first ability. If you look at his first ability, now you don't need to run into it, you just cast it wherever you are, and then boom, you get the Enzo buff. So that's a nice kick as well. It is, of course, a work in progress build and whatever, but the devs are kind of cooked. Other than that, they showed us the ridiculous damage, and I started tweaking, forgetting that these mobs are level 1, because if he was doing 600,000 damage a bullet, that would be higher than Serena technically. So there you go. Currently we have that. He's not stronger than Serena, but he's basically Serena with a penis on the ground, and maybe a slightly better version than Ajax. We'll have to test it to get to the conclusion. Other than that, they changed some of his red mods as well. For red mods on Enzo, for tactical supply armor, they've changed the cost. They've Also made it scale on shield as well with a maximum of 256%. So these values are subject to change before the actual release, but this is still incredibly high. For Enzo's buffing setup, he was already incredibly necessary for any gunning setup. You take a Glare in to Wallcrasher, you run it with an Enzo. You run Serenas in a squad, you're running with an Enzo. So as a necessary Descendant already, they just made him even better. This setup would benefit tactical acceleration as well, so Enzo is cooking. For supply firearm enhancer, this is a pretty big one. They've added multi-hit into it, and I mean, just look at the values, it is nutty. Now, my biggest concern is they did not show us the firearm enhancer for high power rounds, which is what the relic is. So we'll see. As for the special rounds, or what rounds is the scout rifles again? They are impact rounds, right? Are they impact rounds? I can't remember off the top of my head. But an 80%, if they are impact rounds, an 80% increase. Scout, which one? A Blue Beetle. I'm pretty sure Blue Beetle is impact rounds, isn't it? Yeah, impact? Okay, thank you. Blue Beetle for Glare? Yeah, 80% weak point increase. Yeah, and it's gonna be meaty. I'm not sure if that's a buff value or not, but adding multi-hit into here already is disgusting. Especially when I show you what they've done to some weapons later, like the Greg. We'll talk about that shortly. So they've buffed Enzo as a support significantly, and he's a support that's capable of running DPS like absolute crazy. Can someone go time out that guy who's spamming on YouTube, please? As for Reinforce Frontline as well, this is another one that's changed. It scales of max HP and shield value, and also adds firearm attack into here. Oh wait, the bot did it. Never mind, you got ratioed by the bot. Yeah, the guy's spamming. He just got banned by the bot. That's a W. But this also scales on range, and yeah, this is another good change too. With weapon / gunning with Enzo, you kind of have everything. You've got everything there, and Enzo is now a gunning platform that rivals, maybe even beats Ajax. And currently, Glare is crying for help. Next month, Glare will be getting a buff, so I'm hoping they make Crit Massacre possible and just buff the daylights out of Massacre, make her firearm build stronger, make her have an increased fire rate built into her third ability, along with an actual speed buff. They also made it so that Focus Fire is built into him without using a red mod. So if you do use Focus Fire, now they've changed Focus Fire into being a skill build. So if you look at his fourth ability, you, instead of getting a weapons increase, you get a 70% skill power increase, a 30% crit rate increase, and a 55% crit damage increase. Based off what I understand, this should allow for permanent crit Enzo with skills, would be absolutely disgusting. As for his actual skills though, let's quickly have a look at that too. With his second ability, this is going to be primarily his main DPS source, along with Tactical Strike as a trigger mod. So that's what you're going to be doing. His third ability also has more AoE and more damage as well, just in general, or more healing. And Focus Fire, of course, does more DPS too. Essentially, the best way to describe Focus Fire is going to be a firearm version of Eugen's combat protocol, is what the developers said. So that is kind of how we're going to expect Enzo to turn out. So Enzo is going to have some darn meaty, very good things as well. Next up, they showed Jaber for the monthly rebalance. They did mention some Jaber changes. I'm not going to go too crazy into them, but they said that they want Jaber to be more of a hybrid style of Descendant, and also to basically work with guns and turrets. They'll be buffing his turrets, making them more fluid, allowing them to be built in more of a way where they are not a hindrance. And they also added instant casting into the game as well. So VS's fourth ability is instant, Valby's second is instant, Jaber's turrets most likely will be instant. We'll have to find out. Some Freyna abilities might be instant. We'll have to test once it comes, but it is a feature that will be turned on inside of the settings, so that will be a nice little kick over there. So that is what to do there. So include that together. Enzo makes me moist. Actually cooked. So Jaber rebalance is looking promising. So Jaber will be due in March for monthly rebalance. Is the next main thing that I would say. Other than that, there's some new trigger mods. For Enzo, this is what I was talking about. With his second ability, Tactical Strike will allow him to basically hit a mob that will have an explosion radius, and this will also be doing even more damage. With this building into crit, I assume is going to do some ridiculous damage, meaning if you've got a mob over there, you will now be able to snipe them with Enzo's second ability, which is kind of cool. So my boy's eating good, and it's something we like to see. Other than that, there is another trigger mod called Kill Chain, which allows you to basically just do like a ton of DPS specifically to a mob, 35% rate, and then it does additional damage to Colossus and Elites. So this is kind of like what was the other trigger mod called? Crap, Ground Eruption. Yeah, it's kind of like Ground Eruption, but with summon type skills is what I would say. So yeah, we're going with that. Does Enzo have a good crit rate? Enzo's probably got a 15% crit rate, so it will work 100%. Don't worry about it. We'll see. We'll gamble it, and I'll be doing all the testing, of course, guys. So don't worry about that one too much. Other than that, the next one is Two-Face. So this is another trigger module as well. Calling it the front side or the back side is kind of dodgy, but this is basically chain abilities will give a buff, so either a skill power increase or a range increase. 10 seconds cooldown and up to an 80% chance of proccing. So this is going to be really good. Descendants with chain type abilities will benefit from this greatly, especially an 18% skill power buff, which is higher than Power Beyond by 3%, but Power Beyond consistently gives you power increase. So I don't know whether I'd be trying this over Power Beyond, but we'll have to see once it does get increased. Range increase during backshots is crazy. As for modules, they gave Freyna an ungodly buff with the Infection Amplifier, and hell, this might even be worth testing on Bunny at this point. But any Descendant that can use Infected Weapon, like Lepic, Freyna, Valby can even use it and stuff like that, just got a module which is the equivalent of doing a line of cork and then shooting your gun, because there is a massive 230%, 35% skill power increase on a mob for 10 seconds. Basically, you shoot a mob and it's going to do even more giga damage, as if the damage wasn't already ridiculous. They've also given a Ground Eruption one, which is kind of like Hunter Set built into it as well. So Hunter Set is going to be a nice little kick, or nice little free MP kick out of there. So if you don't know what to run, you're going to want to run that. Other than that, they did say that these modules over here, so Arcade Overlay, Cyclic Amplification Acceleration, Breach Explorer, Speed Dominator, Chain Reaction, and Firepower Conversion have all been adjusted. That means they probably nerfed them, but we'll have to find out how much or what they've done after the update drops. So that covers everything for the new modules and trigger modules. So that is going to be that bit concluded. Now, for the one of the most crazy bits, the weapons. So for the weapons, the Greg's Reverse Fate now scales off multi, or you can build it for multi and it's going to work. With Serena, you can force multi-hit on this weapon. So honestly, I think the weapon builds are not going to change too much, but essentially you can build a Greg into multi-hit with ridiculous fire rate, and it is going to go absolutely ham. The three Descendants I think this is going to work incredibly well on is number 1, Serena, of course. Number 2, Glay. Number 3, Ajax / Enzo. I think Glay is going to be the second option as well. They've increased the range, and the duration is a little bit less, I think. I'm not 100% sure about that. But Enhanced Bombardment increases the range and the number of strikes. Basically, if you ever liked ruining people's day with the Greg, it's about to get a lot better for you. In terms of actual gameplay, they kind of made the Greg look disappointing because they use Ajax with it, but I feel like with Glay or with Serena, this thing would be an absolute monster. Now, they do have a very high fire rate on it too, so they might have addressed some fire rate issues with the Greg, or just fire rate, or changed fire rate with Greg maybe, but this is still very promising, and Greg enjoyers are going to be enjoying this as well, because it'll make Serena wipe Wall Crasher 1,000,000 times faster. Next up, the Afterglow Sword. The Afterglow Sword now has, or as I should call it, the ATAMS 2.0, has a massive change. It has 820% firearm attack increase and 800 weak point damage increase. And if that's not enough, it now also comes with literal aimbot. So you aim the gun and it will auto aim at the weak point for you. If you had a skill issue on console with aiming, or PC you wanted a bit of aim assist, this weapon literally auto locks on for you after like a second of aiming it. So now you can no longer miss weak points. I think this might become a disgustingly important weapon with Serena for Grim Reaper. This could be something that is going to be insane. Or hell, even Sharon with Grim Reaper, or just bossing in general. This is going to be disgusting. The 139 million or 130 million crits, take them with a grain of salt. This is a level 1 mob. But for bossing, this might be a very, very good pick, especially because Grim Reaper's weak points are definitely hard to get. Now, Nyzestra's Devotion got a buff, so the Devotion in itself is literally the ultimate strip weapon. They replaced every Descendant and everything with the Devotion. So you can have 10 stacks of it with up to negative 10% defense per stack. Technically, that's negative 100 defense. Is it going to work like that? Absolutely not. Defense stripping cap as well is usually around 70%, depending on what it is. For Wallcrasher, his max strip is 70%. So this is going to become one of, if not the best, stripping weapon. Basically, give Sharon and Zestra's Devotion and it goes ballistic. As if you thought that would be enough to make it an absolute must-have, let's see what happens when you actually shoot the weapon, especially with payout, because you can put 2 fire rate cores on it, so it's as fully automatic as it gets. This is another absolute giga brain weapon. This is like so cool, it's insane. The DPS on that is not too bad either, so the Devotion is an absolute giga brain. Now we come to the god of thunder himself, the Thunder Cage. Now, if you thought the Thunder Cage was good before, good god, you have not seen anything yet. The Thunder Cage is what happens if Bunny had sex with Thor, shat on the Executioner, and said, fuck it, let's absolutely fry everyone's FPS. Because this weapon is absolutely insane. This thing pummels down electricity like there's no tomorrow. And the DPS on here looks very solid too. If you want to give your friend a visual concussion or send them into an epileptic fit, you've got your weapon right over here. It is the Thunder Cage. Now, as for this weapon, again, I don't think the builds on these weapons will change dramatically. They will change, but not like crazy. As for the Thunder Cage though, one of the best weapons has come back to being the king of the game, or one of the kings of the game, so I'm absolutely all for that. Now, the Thunder Cage also has the effect of if you use the full Supernova set. So that's essentially the effect, except it's on a weapon and it's like crack. The other thing is that the Thunder Cage has a max target of 8 and a 30% trigger rate, but don't let that stop you. The Glaze Thunder Cage meta is actually not a joke anymore. So, yeah. Glaze, honestly, for Glaze at this point, it might even just turn into Relic, Thunder Cage, and Greg. It honestly could. Dagger is still a very, very back and forth with Glaze, considering you don't even need it half the time. It might even turn into this, or it might turn into Afterglow Sword for your weak point nuking, Relic for Glaze, and maybe a Thunder Cage for the fun of it. But yeah, that's essentially everything for the weapons. So now let's talk about the swords. Now the swords were the first thing that I think that I was actually disappointed inside. The swords have slightly changed. They said they are going to turn faction damage down in favor of base DPS. So the swords will all hit harder, but instead the faction damage might be slightly less. Now, is this a bad change? No, but this is not the change I'm upset about. The change that I do not like is the guarding mechanic. So with the guard mechanic, you were able to basically get full invincibility with the sword for like 1 or 2 blocks if you activated your blocking feature, especially inside of Axion. You would use an ace with the sword to basically block the final boss's AoE attack, and then you would move over. Instead, what they've done is they've removed the complete immunity and they've replaced it in favor of a gauge, but you take less damage. You can see the director has used the blocking feature with the sword. So if he does get hit, he takes less damage. And they said that this approach allows you to deal more DPS and helps with the flow of the gameplay. I kind of disagree, but it's still something that we're going to have to live with. So essentially what you'll have to do is, instead of blocking, roll back, roll forward, which isn't that bad. It's what I used to do half the time, but the other half I would block with the sword. So that's the change I don't like, is pretty much it. So that covers the sword changes, at least for the upcoming update. So next up, let's have a look at the the skins, I think it is, or the Albion, I don't know. Nope, they showed us skins. So the Albion looks cool, and we've got the new spawn, which looks kind of cool as well. A B-Tech variation of the bunny spawn. We do, however, have bunny balling, which is a goated skin in my opinion. Now, as far as skins go, they also accidentally showed us Daya in the game, confirming her base skin to be this skin. Well, whether it's a confirmation or not, I'm not 1,000,000% sure, because you can see the body skin and we don't know whether that's the base. So this is semi, if not almost confirmed as Daya's base skin. And you also see her animation of her with her arm on her waist. So there you go, there's that. Other than that, as far as skins go, they actually did quite good. They showed us some of the other team Albion Girl skins and some of the Select Star skins. So there's something like that too. I don't really care for this because they have Dougal physics on. Other than that, they admitted that we are finally adding instant cast, which is another good thing. They've increased the depth of the junk filter too, which is a very, very nice QOL. You can chat during trades and also have the Pyromaniac. An example of instant casting would be, you can see Valby placing and holding before she does it. Now she looks there and she instantly casts. For Viesha with Absolute Zero, this is going to be a game changer, or hell, even with Glacial Cloud. I think Absolute Zero more so than anything else, but even still, all my homies are looking forward to the Viesha gameplay, because this is about to be peak. Other than that, you can see that they've increased the junk filter and made that way more in depth, and then they've also added trading chat in the middle of the screen whilst you are trading. So that's also a nice little change for some QOL over there. So yeah, Nell with the instant cast is gonna go ballistic too, yeah. Especially if Nell has it. We don't know 100% because they didn't show us, but we'll find out. Other than that, they did show a quick screenshot of the Colossi and thingy. Show a quick screenshot of Pyromaniac inside of Axion, so he's going to be added to the roster. Other than that, they did show some concept skins for upcoming skins along with the screenshot. So this Dancing Night skins will be coming next month, I think. I'm not 100% sure. So these will be coming next month as well. They are very skins. So moving on to the next ones, we have some of the fucking coolest skins in the game. The Wild West skins is what I'm calling them, or the Retro Gunslinger and Bad Blood skins they're called. This one particularly, they mentioned for Sharon. This one and this one I like a lot. I think that might be Serena, but these two look so dope in my opinion. Even the males genuinely got such a cool skin this time around, so I'm very hyped about the Retro Gunslinger outfits. The female ones could do with a touch more covering up, but yeah. Also, one of the biggest announcements is, do you have the skins are coming back? The Cyber Samurai skin for the males is coming back. The Chun-Li skin is returning as well. The New Year anniversary skins are coming back, along with the Valentine skins coming back. I know a lot of people have asked if I think this skin here is coming back, so there's definitely going to be a lot more flowing content. I might even buy the last skin to complete the collection, and I'm definitely buying the Cyber Samurai for the males, because I missed out on it last time, because males were trash in this game. All I need is the blue flower. Yeah, Kohai, completely valid. The blue flower is coming back as well. Other than that, I can't see it's white screening me on the thing. They also showed a few more of the concept skins. So for a concept skin from the contest, they showed this as well. This is going to be added in as well. So this is going to be another skin. This is another one that won the contest. So this will also be added in along with this one too as well. So yeah, those are going to be added, as well as the dog mecha armor, or whatever you'd want to call it. They will be adding these skins for Harris and Nell. Yeah, they're re-releasing, so they will be for Harris and Nell as well, most likely. So yeah, those are the skins covered up completely. I hope. Are they gonna jump scare me with more skins? They are not gonna jump scare me with more skins. So that's the end of the skins. Okay, so that covers the rest of the skins. They did talk about events, so there'll basically be another online event, or just another event in general, which is completing missions, getting fan tokens and boxes. You can either go with Team Select Star or Albion Girls. Albion Girls will give you specific cosmetics, and the Select Star will give you specific cosmetics. They've also announced weekend boosters for the Breach tracking field, as well as Axion, so those are coming too. And yeah, then a final event with Dire. This one is very interesting too. So with this Dire event, you can log in, and it's going to start a week before Dire's release. Log in, you can get a red mod for Dire, an Ancestor mod selection box, and some mats to start researching Dire immediately. We also get superheated conductive units coming back, so you're definitely going to probably end up spending them on Dire. Yeah, that's another nice little kick for the Dire stuff too. Now, what's next? Then that pretty much wraps up everything on the dev stream. It's been a long one, I know, but there's so many good things that have come out of this dev stream. So yeah, overall this dev stream was absolutely great, and I've been a massive fan of what they've done. In terms of the Q&A section, they didn't announce anything too major, but I did take a few notes of some of the stuff that they did mention. They said specifically, the next Descendant after Dire is not an NPC, so it's a completely new Descendant. They also mentioned that they will be adding Catalyst research inside of the app. And they also mention that Onslaught has been delayed until April, and then it will be released in May. Other than that, that will be in Season 3, Episode 4. The other big thing that I'm actually kind of interested in is they mention more Ancestor mod slots in the future, and a possible option, or they were thinking about making adjustments to Ancestors so that you can choose a stat and maybe gamble the colors on that stat. That's something I think should not be added in at all. That is a horrible change in my opinion. Other than that, they said that if you want to do website trading, there's going to be a major overhaul to this as well. The website on the 5th of February will have the colors. It will have stat filtering, so you can search up whether you want your crit rate, crit damage, cost for bunny, for example. So you'll be able to filter that by stat, percentages, and colors. So well, that's something we've all been waiting for desperately. Other than that, they've said that if you message someone who is offline, or you want to push a trade with an offline player, they will consider sending a push notification to the they'll consider sending a push notification to the other player when they are offline, so they'll get a ping to the companion app on the phone, which is quite cool too. Other than that, they did show us one additional piece of content that I want to quickly show you, if I can find it on here. Can I? I don't think I can, unless it's here. Nope, I can't find it. So the last other thing that they showed us, Apocalyptos, I'm gonna dox our DMs, is a screenshot of the Corel Mega Dungeon, and also a screenshot of the Albion exploding. So the Albion getting nuked is another nice thing to look forward to with the Corel Mega Dungeon finale. There is a lot more stuff as well. Wait, Apo, did you take a screenshot of the Albion being nuked? No, you didn't. It's fine. Right, thank you though. So yeah, there is definitely some incredibly promising things coming. They did a lot of really good work, and honestly, I'm very excited for this dev stream. And yeah, they did a good job. That's pretty much everything. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, please do smash that like button. If you're new here, please do consider subscribing, and let me know what your thoughts were for the dev stream. I think the dev stream was genuinely incredibly well promising. It may look like this game is cooking for the foreseeable future. So yeah, that's everything, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. Please do smash that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.